Hello friends, welcome to this lecture 6 for English for the phase 2 of NABARD grade A and grade B examination 2017. So in the previous lecture we had seen the assignment. So I had given you two topics. One topic was on illiteracy, that how you have to suggest measures, 3 measures from your side which can help eradicate illiteracy, and how these measures will be effective in eradicating illiteracy from India. So we had seen the construction of a thought framework for this essay and how you have to use the different styles of introduction and conclusion for this essay. And the second topic was how computerization has led to unemployment, or there was a statement given that computerization has led to unemployment, and the topic was that do you agree, and you have to explain. So I told you that you do not have to take sides, that 100% you agree or 100% you disagree. This should not be the case. Your overall essay should be balanced. You have to take both stands. You have to write points in favor of the statement and you have to write points against the given statement using again the WWHCS framework, and you have to link this framework with the different introduction and the conclusion styles. So this we have seen that how you have to implement this framework and link the different styles of introduction and conclusion with this framework. Now in this lecture what we'll be doing is we'll be first of all summarizing what we have learned so far. So we are finishing with the essay part. So let us summarize and note down what we have learned so far, and then I'll be discussing some good essays and bad essays. So I have pasted the screenshots of the good essay copies of some candidates and the bad essay copies of some candidates who we had enrolled earlier in our RBI courses. So I'll be discussing that how these essays are good and how these essays are bad, so that you can self-evaluate your own essays based on what we have learned so far and based upon the copies that I have uploaded in this lecture. Now let's see. So let us summarize first. So first of all, we had seen that essay is a composition consisting of several paragraphs with a logical connection with one another. The most important point, or the most important two words in this sentence is logical connection. These are the two most important words. Why are these important? These are important because your structure of the essay, that is introduction, body and conclusion, please keep this in mind. This is very, very, very important. These three things should be logically connected with one another. Your introduction should be connected with the body, your body should be connected with the conclusion. The overall essay should be one coherent whole. It should not look like your introduction is going in one direction, then your body is going in some other direction, and then your conclusion has no linkage with either the introduction or the body. So the different paragraphs that you write in the essay, they should have a connection with one another, and the last line of the preceding paragraph should automatically lead to the first line of the next paragraph. That level of connection should be there, and your essay should be one coherent whole, one organic whole. Now what all dimensions you have to cover in a particular topic? There are 5 dimensions, and I have been repeatedly talking about this framework. There are 5 dimensions that need to be covered for preparing a particular topic. It is not necessary that all these 5 dimensions have to be written in the essay, but if you are preparing a topic for essay writing, then these 5 dimensions should be covered at your own end while making the notes, so that out of these 5 dimensions the essay topic can be based on 1 dimension or 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions or all of these dimensions. So your preparation should revolve around all these 5 dimensions, but the essay topic may ask only 2 dimensions or 3 or 4 or 5 or all 5 of them. Now what are these 5 dimensions? The first is the why of the given topic. The second dimension is the what of the topic. Third is how of the topic. Fourth is the challenges of the topic, and fifth is the solutions of the topic. I can take an example. For example, take the example of demonetization. Now once you are preparing the notes on demonetization, what you have to talk about, or what all you have to cover in your notes, you have to talk about the why of demonetization. That why was demonetization carried out? Then what is demonetization? The definition. How was it carried out? What are the challenges or its impact or negative consequences of demonetization? Then what are the corresponding solutions? Now these are the 5 things that you should cover in your notes. It is not necessary that a topic on demonetization will involve all these 5 dimensions in the essay. The topic can revolve around why and what. It can revolve around why and how. But once you are thorough with these 5 dimensions, it becomes easier for you to write the essay. Fine. Then we had also seen that the topics can be of 2 types, either the question based topics or the statement based topics. The structure framing for these topics is relatively easier because the allocation of words is pretty simple, because the question that is given in the essay itself has to be answered, while in the statement based topics the structure framing is slightly more difficult, or the words allocation is slightly more difficult or a bit tedious, because the allocation of words becomes a problem, because you have to prioritize out of these 5 things that how many words have to be allocated to each one of them, or to 4 of them, or to 3 of them, whatever you are trying to answer in the topic. Then lastly, we had also seen that you can use this framework to build the structure, that is the introduction, body and conclusion of an essay. So out of these 5 things, some things will go into the introduction, 1 or 2 things will come in the body, and 1 or 2 things will come in the conclusion. So depending on the topic, these things will keep on changing, but this framework comes in handy while writing while building the structure of the essay. Then we had seen the different styles of introduction and conclusion. What were those styles? The first style of introduction was definition, that you start with the definition of the term in the topic. The second style was background, that you go to the history, you go to the background information of the particular topic, and then you write a paragraph in the introduction. The third kind of introduction or style was the statistics or the data, that if you have government data or good statistics, reliable statistics about a particular topic, then you can quote the facts. The advantages with the facts are that the facts are objective, while your arguments are always subjective. This is a very important point. The facts that you write or the data that you write are objective. It cannot, the data is generally not challenged. It can be challenged, but generally the data is accepted as such. But once you come to your argument or your view, it is very subjective. The argument can vary from person to person. Someone may say that demonetization is very good, someone might say that demonetization is bad. But the fact remains that 86% of your 500 and 1000 notes, or 86% of the higher currency notes that were in circulation, they were demonetized. This is the fact, right? So the fact remains the same for everyone, but the argument or the view that that you are putting forward, that may not be agreeable to the other person, and the arguments can vary from person to person. And the fourth style of introduction was quotation. So if you have a good quotation by some famous personality, you can use that quotation to begin your essay. The different styles of conclusion were that, number 1, you can challenge the topic itself. So if you are not agreeing with the topic, you can challenge the topic. Just you have to keep in mind that your essay then should be, your introduction, your body should be supplementing the conclusion. It should not be that in the introduction and body you are agreeing with the topic, then suddenly you you change your mind and then you try to challenge the topic. That will not lead to a coherent essay. Then you can pose some questions. In the end, you can pose some questions, some open-ended questions. You don't have to answer those questions. You can just pose 3-4 questions and leave your essay there. Then you can look into the future. Look to the future. You can give a positive or optimistic conclusion, or you can use a quotation by some famous philosopher, some famous thinker. That can also be done. This point is very important, that there is no one best way. Bear this in mind, that there is no one best way of writing an essay. There is nothing called a model essay. You might find certain books on the internet, in the bookstore, that are titled as model essays. What I believe is that there is nothing as a model essay, because if I give a particular topic to 100 people, those 100 people will write 100 different essays on a particular topic, on the same topic, and maybe 50 of them will score very good, and all the 50 essays will be different. So what I believe is that essay is your own personal work of art. You have to spend time with it, and you have to work on it, and then it shall come out to be perfect. So you don't have to read the essays of some candidates. You don't have to read the essays of some maybe philosophers, or maybe you pick up a book and you start reading the essay. You can take hints here and there. You can take cues from those essays, but do not try to copy or replicate the essay as such. Right? Put your own wisdom into the essay, put your own inputs into the essay, and spend time with your essay so that it can come out to be perfect. Now let's come to the second part of this video, in which we are going to discuss some good essay copies. Now this is an essay written by one of the candidate, right? So the topic was, are farm loan waivers really bad? So what you can do is, you can pause the video and you can write the thought framework also. Without looking at this slide, you can write your own framework and then you can compare. Right? So this topic, are farm loan waivers really so bad? This is the thought framework written by that candidate, that why the need of farm loan waivers in our country, why. So this is the introduction, and this introduction is matching with the style of history or background. So he has used this style of history or background, and he has asked the question that why is the need of farm loan waivers in the country? What is the need of farm loan waivers in the country? Then he is asking the main question, which is the question in the topic itself, that what are the impacts of farm loan waivers in the country? Now the question is, are farm loan waivers really so bad? It is not a definite yes or a no. Yes, it is bad to some extent, it is good to some extent. So what are the impacts? The impacts are positive as well as negative. These both impacts have to be written. So he has also allocated maximum words. See here. Now this essay was to be written in 250 words. So he has allocated 120 words. In fact, I would say that you have to allocate 150 to 160 words. In fact, it can go up to 180 on writing just this thing, that what are the impacts, the positive as well as the negative impacts of farm loan waivers on the nation. Then the third part of the conclusion is what can be done about the farm loan waivers, or what can be the solutions of the negatives that you are going to write in the second or the third paragraph. Now this is nothing but looking to the future. Looking to the future. What are the solutions? Now this is a good framework for writing this essay, and you can read this essay that he has answered the questions that he had posed in the thought framework. What is the need of farm loan waivers? The need is that India's population, overwhelming majority of Indian population is dependent on agriculture, and the agriculture is not able to generate adequate income, hence there is a demand for farm loan waivers. Then he has come to the second paragraph, what are the impacts, positive as well as negative, both positive and negative consequences. Then he has mentioned what are the positive consequences and what are the negative consequences. Then he has written about what can be done about those negative consequences, or what are the solutions, what are the long-term solutions. So he has given an optimistic conclusion as well. So this is a good essay, or this is a good framework. The words can be better, the points can be better, that is always the case. You can write a better essay also than this, but this is a good framework and a good execution of the framework that he has built. Let's see another one. Now this topic is financial inclusion. Has India succeeded? Again, there is no yes or no, that yes, India has succeeded, or no, India has not succeeded. You have to take a balanced opinion, and you have to write both sides of the story, that yes, to some extent India has been successful in fostering financial inclusion, but on the other hand some challenges still remain. Fine. So this is a question based topic, and most of your words should go in answering this question, that how far has India succeeded and how far has India not succeeded. Let's see. Now this can be a good introduction. What is financial inclusion? Why is it needed? It is a combination of nothing but definition plus background. Now what is financial inclusion? The style of introduction that is being used is definition, that you are defining the term. Why is it needed? You are going to the background or the history or the basic information of the topic, that what is the need of financial inclusion. Then you are writing what are the steps taken by the government and RBI to foster financial inclusion. Now these 2 points are the introduction. The main point is these two things. These are the questions in the topic itself. Positives, that is how far has India succeeded. Negatives or challenges, that is how far has India not succeeded in fostering financial inclusion. Write both these things so as to have an overall balanced essay. So most of your words should go in answering these two things, positives and challenges. Then you have to write an appropriate conclusion. Fine. So see here, he is writing financial inclusion can be defined as, he is giving the definition, then he is giving that why is it needed, then he has given that what have been the steps taken by the government, then he is coming to the challenges and the corresponding, the positives and the challenges and the solutions. Now let us come to not so good essay copies. You have to not commit these mistakes. These are not good essays. These essays will not fetch you marks. The topic is this: ease of doing business. Why is India stuck? Why is India stuck? We have already seen this topic while discussing the conclusion styles, if you remember. So the framework that he has made is what is ease of doing business. So this can be introduction, the definition of the term, how India fares in it, what are the reasons for poor legacy, what are the major reforms being undertaken, what is the potential prospect accompanied in improving it, social benefits and all. I don't find this framework to be a very good framework. Fine, this question is fine, that what is ease of doing business, and you can start with the definition of the term, and this can be a good introduction. Fine. How India fares in it, these 2 points, both these things can be introduction. What are the reasons for poor legacy? This question is nothing but why is India stuck? Why is India stuck? What are the reasons for poor legacy? That is, what are the reasons that India is stuck in terms of ease of doing business? Then talking about the reforms and talking about the potential prospects and again social benefits, legal benefits, political benefits, international ramifications, this is overstretched. The question is, or the topic, which is a question based topic, is not about what are the reforms or what are the prospects of those reforms. The question is basically about this question: what are the reasons for poor legacy? Why is India stuck? What are the reasons that India is stuck in terms of ease of doing business? What are the bottlenecks? What are the hurdles that India faces in terms of ease of doing business? So most of the words should have been allocated to this, but if you see the essay, if you read the essay, you will come to know that since the framework was not good, the same thing has been replicated in the essay as well, that while answering these questions, wrong word allocation has been done and wrong points or unnecessary points have been written which are not required according to the need of the topic. You can read this essay. Let's see another one. It is also not a good essay. The topic is the race to make India a cashless economy. Now as you can see, this is a statement based topic, open-ended topic. It is not a question based topic. So once you are given a statement based topic, you have to use the WWHCS framework and you have to then allocate the words. Fine. So the framework that this person has made is this. I don't find such frameworks to be good because these are not questions, these are just phrases. In order to convert the statement based topic into questions, that is the role of the thought framework. Right. So the thought framework is a tool to convert the statement into a question so that you are able to answer that particular question in your essay. But if you are again writing open-ended statements in the thought framework, then the thought framework is of no use, because again while writing the answer to these open-ended statements you will be confused that what you have to actually write. So it is always better that you ask pinpointed questions, particular questions in the thought framework, so that you are able to answer the questions asked in the framework in the actual essay. So this should be the case. It should not be open-ended statements. The thought framework should contain particular questions, very particular questions, specific questions, because the word limit is just 200, 300, 400 words and it becomes difficult to justify or to write all the points in the essay, and you have to prioritize. How will you prioritize? By asking very particular questions and answering those questions in the essay. Fine. So as you can see here, a brief on the cash intensive nature. Now what do you mean by a brief? What brief you have to write? What points you will write in priority? So if you had asked a question here, it would have been better. Demonetization as a trigger to the race for cashless economy. Again, this is an open-ended statement. The rise of private prepaid instruments. Again, an open-ended statement. So some questions would have been better if questions would have been asked here. Fine. So you can read the essay and you will come to know that how, if you are not writing a good framework, your essay will also not be so good and you will be confused while writing the essay that what I have to write and how I have to prioritize or use my limited words. So this is all about the essay. Now we'll be starting with the précis writing. With the précis writing, what I suggest you is that you pick up topics which are in the news or which you feel might be asked in this year's examination, and you start framing the thought frameworks of the essays so that you are able to practice. Thought framework building will not come to you in one day. You will have to make many frameworks so that you are able to master this technique, and in the actual examination you are able to fetch good marks. Thank you.